What's going on, y'all? My name's Josh, you can call me Anoriand, and today I'm coming at you with a brand new review of a new game coming out that I'm highly excited to share, Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch by Ocean Drive Studios. This is the latest game in the Lost Eidolons series, and I'm really excited to tackle it, but before I dive in, the usual disclosures, I was provided a code of the game for Steam by the Ocean Drive Studios team, but I was provided no other compensation or otherwise given anything, and all opinions are my own. As well, as I said, this is the Steam version, so all footage, all graphical comparisons, and everything you see will be based on the Steam version of the game, though it is coming out for other platforms. With that all being said, let's head out. Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch is the spin-off sequel to the game Lost Eidolons, which I have also done a review of. You can find a card for that over in the corner right now, as well as a link to it in the description of this video. But it is a game by Ocean Drive Studios, a new studio that is doing great work making the games that they want to see put out in the world. The original Lost Eidolons was a turn-based RPG with the classic long-form story formula, had some great things going for it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch, on the other hand, kind of tweaks the formula and decides, what if we took our strategy RPG gameplay and turned it into a roguelike? And with the recent spate of other excellent roguelikes, such as Hades 2 dropping, feels like the perfect time to get into something like that. However, it becomes a question, does the formula work with the strategy RPG? I believe so, but let me break down why, and break down everything you need to know about this great game, and why you should be excited for October 9th. The story of Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch is both basic and perfect for a game like this. You begin with receiving a letter from someone named Carmen about a search for Silvio as you decide on the appearance and basics of your main character, Ash. Though you can rename them, Ash is the name that is the default and is what will be said with voice acting when referring to your character. Ash awakens in a sort of world of mist, confused as to what's going on, and a mysterious being talks to them and confers that they have a greater destiny at play here. Shortly thereafter, Ash awakens on a beach next to a character named Evie and sees some zombified-looking creatures and is immediately thrust into the throes of battle without really knowing fully what's going on. Immediately you get to work fighting, Marco then shows up, and from there you kind of get the basics of what's going on. You have arrived in an island known as Anoriand. Here you have had some sort of duty or mission you've been sent towards, but you've got to kind of figure it out as you go. With Evie and Marco in tow, you make your way to the nearby settlement, where you run into the next two important characters, Emile, the mayor of the settlement, as it has been established, and Laurent, a very scholarly gentleman. From here you kind of get the basic lay of the land. On this island, there are sort of zombified humans, beings that are coming back up from the dead, can't seem to die, and these mists that are covering everything, and magical effects and what have you. And so this settlement kind of becomes the last stronghold of people. You also find out that these people who are raising these zombies and what have you seem to have formed a cult following the Emperor, who they keep referring to. And it becomes your job to then strike out into the island and see if you can figure out what's going on. You take this core group of 5 and head out, and you begin your adventure, and you see how far you can get until you hit the inevitable gameplay loop of dying and resetting. Now, I will not tell you the things that happen once you do. I will tell you, however, that one of the core conceits of this game, very much so similar to Hades, is that there is so much more to the story than what you were told at first. And you have to begin to unpack things layer by layer by layer as you're playing. You learn more about your companions and their story. You learn more about Ash and his story. You learn more about the island and its story. All of this takes place in a world vaguely 5 years after the events of Lost Eidolons. Now, while you have run into 5 characters at the beginning, you can recruit up to 4 more for 9 total playable characters, not counting individual NPCs who you can run into along any given adventure, who can join you either temporarily or through your adventure for a certain amount of time in order to assist you. These 9 characters are the ones you should get used to and will be regularly using, and learning about their stories is great. Only 2 of them were seen in Lost Eidolons, and both of them were not exactly the most major characters, which means that you do not have to have played Lost Eidolons to jump into this game and enjoy it. If you have played it, one thing you should know is, as I said, this takes place 5 years after the story of Lost Eidolons. We are in a world where we're trying to see, did Eden become a good ruler? Is he doing well? Is the kingdom going well? Did he become evil? Did he succumb to the darkness within him, or anything along those lines? I can tell you now, they went with the default story of, he is good, they are trying, but there are things that come with trying to rebuild a kingdom in the wake of war, and we're exploring some of those things. But by setting it near enough to see the effects of the war, but in a different area, far enough physically that you're not beholden to it, this becomes an adventure that anyone can jump into. If you enjoy strategy RPGs at all, and you enjoy roguelikes at all, or even if you only like one or the other very much, I highly, highly, highly recommend you at least look into it. The story, in my opinion, is better here than it was in the first Lost Eidolons game. That's not to say that it is world-bendingly amazing here, or that it was terrible in the first game. The reason is, in the first game, you kind of had a sort of, almost not necessarily, but paint-by-numbers approach, where the story did feel good, though not exceptional, for the nature of what it was. Here, because of the fact that they were breaking from the traditional conventions of a game of this genre, it allowed them to flex what they could and would do. I got a lot of the same feelings I got playing Hades, where I completed my first run and said, oh, I've got to do more. In this case, I didn't even have to complete my first run before I hit bits of story and characterization that said, oh, I've got to play more. It truly is a game that makes you want to go back in and go back in and go back in. And really, I consider that a strength of the game, if it draws you in like that. The mechanics are very simple if you've played Lost Eidolons, and if you haven't, they're very simple if you've played strategy RPGs in general. You pick your team, you head out into the world, and you go. Now, where this becomes a roguelike is, as your characters level up, you get random assortments of moves or stat boosts that you can choose from. At certain levels, it will always be moves. At certain levels, it will always be stat buffs. You can choose one of the ones that are presented to you, but you are not in control of which ones are presented to you, which means you are building your builds as you go, and this can make for wildly different builds. Evie has a balance of both physical attacks and light magic. This means she is basically always going to be a good healer, but how that happens is up to you. I've had a run where she learned a lot more magical abilities, Radiant Arrow and things like that, being able to supplement her healing with ranged magic damage, and a lot of defensive skills to make it so that she could guard well and stay alive longer. I had another build where she ended up going full Vengeance Paladin, where her benefits became such that anytime she physically attacked an enemy, the entire party would heal some HP. Additionally, she would create a shield of temporary HP over her max HP, and she just became a wrecking ball who I was purposely throwing at enemies in order to build up everyone's health. Emil is very stealthy and roguelike in that he has his dual daggers and his axe, but whether he's focused on quick assassination strikes or whether he's focused on staying concealed and maneuvering enemies is completely different, and as a result, it requires you to stay focused on what's going on. Additionally, there are relics, which can overall impact the entire party, doing things like making it so that moves that have a cooldown can have that cooldown reduced or extended on a random chance. It can make it to where you just get some extra money. It can make it to where you heal at the beginning of every match. There's so many ways that things can get changed. As a result, you constantly have to stay mentally aware of what's going on and be willing to try different parties and different groups. Once you get back to the settlement, there are multiple different upgrades you can take that make future runs easier. There's the Altar of Flames, which allows you to get bonuses which impact your entire party. There is the ability to promote your characters, which will give them access to newer and better abilities as well as better stats. There is the ability to get further ties to your characters, increasing your connection with them, which gives something akin to like support bonuses in Fire Emblem. And as you deepen your connections, in addition to learning more about the character, you also will increase stat bonuses between them as they are close to each other in battle, further encouraging you to use them. A lot of the systems play into each other very well and encourage you to go on run after run after run, which is, of course, the point of games like these, that these little systems all build up and make you want to do a further run, which, when you add it to the story giving you a lot of hooks, makes it very easy to get lost in the game run after run after run. This is 100% the type of game that can and will eat your quarters, so to speak, drawing you in for just one more battle, just one more battle. Oh shoot, it's 2 a.m. Well, just one more battle. Graphically, the game runs off the same engine as the first Lost Eidolons game, as far as I'm aware, which means it has a presentation somewhat akin to a Dragon Age-esque game or something like that, grounded in more realistic fantasy. But I do think it serves it well. They have tweaked the designs a little bit, and one thing I do need to call out is out of the 9 party members, there is genuine diversity. The majority of the characters are not a sort of standard medieval white man. And what's great about that is you can even modify the main character and so on. Like, it just feels natural and fitting in the world. And so you get this sort of cool groups and looks of aesthetics and ideas, and you just instantly dive in as far as the visuals. The enemies, much the same, have real wide-ranging looks and feels, despite being grounded in this medieval fantasy, and they balanced colors and the like as much as they could while fitting the aesthetic of the world. Additionally, the nature of the island should mean that you only have one real look to go to, but the magic on the island means they played around with biomes and allows you to get different views and different appearances for battlefields as you go through, which keeps things interesting and fresh. The music is, in my opinion, a step up from the last game. Still not all time, but I would honestly argue it's a bit better than it was before, which is a good thing. I think that's a high point. I think that means they're listening to feedback and working on it. I genuinely feel that, as much as I enjoyed the first Lost Eidolons game, I think they took feedback on the first game and really punched it up a notch all throughout. And I don't know that there's a part of this game that genuinely feels that it's worse than before. And given how highly I rated the first game, that's a good thing. So where am I at overall? I mean, I think it's pretty clear I enjoyed it. I have put many hours into it. I'll be putting many more. I'm gonna be honest, the only thing I'm really sad about is I wish I got it for the Switch, because it really does feel like a perfect Switch game. It feels like a game that is perfect for, I can pick it up, do 1 or 2 maps, and put it back down if I'm out and about waiting to pick up my kids for school or something like that. I will not tell you what platform to get it on. It is available on all platforms. Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. All on October 9th. You can go pre-order the game right now. I will tell you, if you go on Steam and you early access it, or if you pre-order, there is currently a DLC available for you with a custom skin for the main character, Ash. You can download that for free as thanks for getting involved early. I would highly recommend everyone do that. However, you do not have to do it. I'm simply letting you know that it is available to you. That being said, while I am saying I wish I got it on Steam, I'm certainly glad that I got it, period. This is a fun game. It's a great game. I really think it's a sleeper hit this year, and I really hope people give it a chance and look into it, because I have been enraptured in my time on the Isle of Anoriand, and I plan on going back in for run after run after run, and I do think this is going to be a game that really pulls me in. So I just hope that more people give it a chance, because I think the team in the game deserves it. Ocean Drive has knocked it out of the park yet again, and there's really nothing that I can criticize on this release. And to be honest with you, it makes me excited for a potential Lost Eidolons 2, because it just means that they're willing to change and tweak the formula and experiment. And I'm really excited to see this series continue and keep going, because I think they've got something special here. Lost Eidolons, Veil of the Witch, gets a 9 out of 10. This game was superb. It is 100% worth your time. In a world of roguelikes, it somehow manages to stand out to me, and I'm really excited to keep digging in. Thank you all so very much for watching. My name's Josh. You can call me Anoriand, and I'll catch you next time. Hey! Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I got some more reviews coming out soon. I've got some streaming that I've been doing. You can catch the live VODs here on YouTube, or you can find me on twitch.tv. I am now part of the SDGC podcast. You can find that wherever podcasts are given. That is the Super Deluxe Gamecast, along with some other wonderful folks. I have some more AP and TTRPG projects in the work. I'm busy, y'all. And it's good, but also I need sleep. Please. If you want to support, you can join the Discord. The description for that is in this video. You can also just swing by, maybe just give on here, or subscribe to this channel, subscribe on Twitch, just whatever, just hang out. I'm on Blue Sky, I tell stupid jokes. I'm kind of an open book. Just follow and do stuff. I appreciate you. Thanks.